A lot of people might think that at that point they are taking advantage of you. You don't really care. You are there only to get that revenue. If I don't do the thing, what other problems am I gonna have? How is that gonna spiral into something that's gonna be more of a burden long term than it is right now?
Josip is a funnel genius. He's in charge of funnels for all of our clients. And in total, the funnels he's built have made our clients over $33 million.
You start following a structure. This time next year, you will have promotion. Imagine how that's gonna feel like, how that's gonna change the revenue that you're getting. That's the basic thing. It's your job.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Selling Online Courses. We're here to share winning strategies and secret hacks from top performers in the online course industry. My name's John Ainsworth and today's guest is Josip Belina. Today we're going to be talking about a funnel we built for a client that made him $111,000 in 7 days. All the steps in the funnel, how we built it, and how you can copy it. Josip, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here again.
So what were the steps in this funnel? Can you talk us through it?
So standard 7-day funnel where we do email promotions. Basically, you build a funnel. It has a sales page, you have a checkout page with an order bump and an upsell behind that with a simple thank you page. And then you have emails. So we sent 8 emails over a period of 7 days. We followed our standard gain, logic, fear, FAQ, future-proof into going, gone strategy.
Nice. Okay. So can you talk us through each of those steps, please? So what is the gain, logic, fear part of the sequence?
So you basically start with an email promo where you announce the offer. The gain email, also called the announcement email, is the first email in a promo series where you want to introduce the offer and you want to emphasize that the promotion has started. You normally do a discount there. If people know what the offer is, they will know that this is a pretty good deal. Then the logic email follows, which is an email that aims at all the reasons why someone should buy it that are not that emotional. Generally, people buy because of emotion. However, with a logic email, you want to emphasize the fact that if by doing the course, if by using the elements that you can learn from something that you teach, how that can benefit in the long run. Like making money angle or having more time angle often used. Basically, you steer clear from the emotional side of why people buy, and you show, okay, these are the hard facts. In the fear email, you often target the fear of either missing out on the offer or fear of not doing the thing, which is something that I like to do more. Basically focusing on what's going to happen, how your life is going to be if you pass this offer. So you target the emotional side of people where if I don't do the thing, what other problems am I going to have? How is that going to spiral into something that's going to be more of a burden long term than it is right now? So first one is basically an announcement. The second one is focused more on people that are logical and driven by numbers or facts. And the third one is then focused on people who are driven more by emotion or the fear of losing something rather than gaining.
Got it. All right, cool. So we've got the gain email, which announces it. We've got the logic email, which uses facts, statistics, data, information for people who think in that way. And then we've got the fear email, which is talking about the fear of missing out. So the fear of, if I don't do this, if I don't get this course, I don't learn this skill, I don't achieve this thing, what is my life going to be like as a result? It'd be better if I went ahead and actually got this now. Is that right?
Yes, in a simplified way, that's the
basic kind of concept of it. All right, cool. All right, so which emails was next? It was future casting and FAQ, right?
Yes. So we call it an FAQ, and then the other one is future proof. FAQ is reasonably simple and straightforward. If you have a well-written sales page, you should already have the FAQ section on that sales page, so you can just reuse that. Basically, people look for certain patterns in a sales page, FAQ being one of them, so they will often ask themselves, so who else has done this? Is this for me? Is there going to be a refund? How much time do I have to get it? Now, all of that is explained throughout the sales page, but the FAQ kind of summarizes that into one, and people can interact. If you can interact with that FAQ section, people can then basically decide what they want to read by themselves at that point, and then just ponder on the idea a bit more. That's basically what the email is for, trying to get people to understand the offer before you send them to the main sales page and then subsequently to the checkout page. And then the future proof or the future cost email, we focus more on the long-term benefit and how the emotional journey is going to look like over the next 1 day, 7 days, 14 days, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Basically, how your life is going to be different if you are implementing this. For example, for our course creators, it could be, okay, you have an email list. You're not sure what to do with those leads that are getting onto your list. If you start following a structure where you'll first warm them up and then regularly offer something to them, this time next year, you will have done 12 promotions if you do one a month. Imagine how that's gonna feel like, or how that's gonna change the revenue that you're getting. So focusing basically on something that people want.
Got it. All right. So FAQ email is just all of the questions that somebody might ask. Now, if I'm listening to this, I would think, well, that sounds like a really boring, long email. So what's the answer to people who are concerned about that?
Some emails are longer, some emails are shorter. Basically, you want to make sure that you give people all the information. We never assume that every person that reads our email is going to be the right person for that particular email. That's why we do 8 emails over a period of 7 days. Some people will connect more with a gain idea. Some people will connect more with a fear. Some people will just want straight facts, hence the logic one. Some people will want to imagine themselves and build a picture in their mind as to what's going to happen over a period of like a lot of time. Some people just want straight facts done in a simple way. So what if I don't like it? What's going to happen? How many people have done this before me? How do I get started? Just simple stuff like that. That's why it's not a single email, it's a whole promotional element that gets the people to buy. That's just one of the triggers that's going to push them over the edge.
I think this is fascinating because most people, when they see long form sales pages with lots of different elements in it, or they see all of these emails that are going out over the course of a week, are like, well, surely nobody's going to read all of those. It's like, yeah, that's right. Probably almost no one is going to read all of the emails, and almost nobody is going to read all of the sales page. But you're writing for an email list of thousands of people, and all these people think differently, and they have different things that they need to know, or different bits of, different ways that their brains work. And so we're trying to cover all of those angles through this email promotion and through the sales page. And so we've got here that gain, logic, fear, I think is a perfect example of that. You've got an announcement, and then you've got logic, and then you've got emotion. So it's like some people, everyone uses a certain amount of logic, right? And a certain amount of emotion. But some people are much more emotional. So they need the emotion-based email, as that's the way they're going to think about this. And some people are much more logical, and they need that. And then some people have got questions, but no one's going to read all of the answers to all of the questions, but they'll read the answer to the question that's relevant to them. Everyone's got a question probably, and so that answer is somewhere in that email. So is there anything that we do to make it easy for people to find the right question? Because I mean, presumably this email could be like really long, like 2,000 words or something like that. So do we have like a hyperlinked within the email? Is that possible, or have people got to scroll through it? How does that work?
We don't do any fancy stuff there. It's a simple email. You have to scroll through it. The questions are more in your face, so it's easy for you to read the question first. So we make sure we emphasize that with designing the email. So the questions are very much highlighted. However, you have to scroll through the entire email. People often think that there is a fancy way to do I don't know what. There is no need to do that. Just give people all the information and emphasize the ones that you want them to see first. And then if someone is not engaged, if someone is not really into what you are selling, they're not going to buy. There are tactics that can make them break the habit of either just scrolling or just being in the moment. But that's less relevant than trying to focus on the people that are actually right there in the right place, in the right time, who want to give you their attention. Just make sure to explain everything properly. That should work well enough. Most people don't do the basic stuff well. So, you don't have to start worrying about subliminal messaging in images that you use and stuff like that. We've had clients who wanted that stuff. What color are we going to use in the back end of this email to make it subliminally more appealing for people to read it? Like, what? That's going to change what? instead of 25 people, 26 are going to read the email. That's not a thing to do. Make the basic stuff first, make them good, and then track your KPIs, and then try to make it better. Simple is always the best.
I think the thing with everyone knows the 80-20 rule, right? Everyone knows that you should be doing the things that make the biggest difference. But I think people forget that the things that make the biggest difference is the basics. It's like, it's the fundamentals, it's doing it right. Like in basketball, it's like your footwork and how well can you shoot. It's like, but footwork's boring. Like, who wants to work on your footwork? Nobody wants to work on that. You want to do clever, interesting, fun, exciting things. It's like, you know what works in like boxing is a jab. Like in mixed martial arts, I've been watching a lot of UFC recently. And it's like, just if you've got a really good jab, that makes a massive difference. It's just like, well, that's not exciting. What about the spinning hook kick? I want to catch someone with a spinning hook. It's like, well, bad luck. That's not the thing that really works. And here it's like, it's not what color is the button. It's not what color is the background color. It's like this stuff that we're going through. This is the fundamentals. This is the basics.
We get a lot of clients that come to us and are like, so I have this email list of 34,000 people. I've gathered it over the last year or so. Okay, so how many emails are you sending to them? Oh, I've never sent an email. That's the basic thing. If you were to send an email that says, hey guys, I have this offer here. It's about X. Click here to buy it. You would get buyers. That's better than trying to reinvent the wheel of how the email. Just the basics first.
All right, so let's get back to the next one was that you mentioned was the future proofing. So I think this one's super interesting because it's about trying to help someone imagine what their emotional future is going to be like if they make this decision to get this thing or if they don't. Do we talk to people actually in that email about if you don't get it, here's where you might be? Or do we just talk about if you get this, here's where you might be and what you might be feeling?
We don't focus on the negative element and the fear in that email. We just focus on them imagining the positive aspect of the outcome.
Can you give, like, to bring this to life for people, can you give any kind of example of like 3 months later, you might be feeling this about, course topic of your choice?
Yeah, so for us, people, that's also often sending email promotions. That's, I think, the easiest one for us. People are either afraid that their list is gonna want to unsubscribe, that they're gonna hate them because they are super salesy and spammy and I don't know what. So imagining a different outcome where you keep emailing your list every month and then they actually wait for the next promo to happen is where you want them to be at. And then you want them to understand why they think, which is a false belief, why they think, their email list is gonna want to unsubscribe and people are gonna hate them. A lot of people have social media followings. If you put content out on social media, that's basically free content. So if someone doesn't like, if they're already in your email list, if they don't like it, then they can learn a lot from your free content on social media anyway. They might as well unsubscribe. Nothing is gonna happen. But the people that stay on the list, imagine how much you're helping them with sending those promotions out, offering them. Basically, we talked about this a few times. It's almost like it's your job to put good quality content and offers in front of them because they are looking at you for inspiration and for guidance. You need to teach them what they want to learn. Yes, you have to running a business. Obviously, you want them to pay for it as well. But if you get into that rhythm, you make more money, your audience loves you more because you are giving them more value than you used to, and you're happier because of it.
Beautiful. All right, cool. So let's move on. We've still got the funnel pages coming up, so the sales page and the checkout page. But let's carry on with the emails. We've got the next ones were going, gone. Is that right?
Yeah. And that's the only very heavy salesy element in this entire email promotion. Now, John and I have this saying that your free content should help more people than your paid content ever will. I don't think it's ours. I think we heard it somewhere. But basically, the goal is to help a lot of people. Your content, even your warm-up content or your promotional content, should also be helpful. It's not just supposed to be salesy and pushy. It's not like you go there and tell people, hey, go there, buy my stuff. The logic email gives them value. The fear email gives them value. Whether it's breaking an emotional barrier, a false belief, or something like a small tip that you give them, everything has value. So at the end of a life cycle of a lead, that might be 6 months, a year, who knows how long, they might buy because of an email promo that happened 3 months ago because they learned a useful tip, implemented it. Now you hit them again with a promo, and now they buy. But basically, the only sales bit is the going on afterwards, right? So that's the last 2 days of a campaign, going email number one, that emphasizes the idea of a countdown timer running out, or this much today, this much tomorrow. If you have a discount, $97 today, $297 tomorrow, with a subject line. So those three emails focus on the urgency and scarcity of the offer going away, emphasize the countdown timer, and then we often send 2 emails on the last day, going and gone, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. The last chance email is super simple and straightforward. Just a reminder, a couple sentences with a call to action button and a countdown timer, just reminding people that the offer is going to go away. Now, when that ends, there is another strategy that I'm going to talk about a bit later. But yeah, what's next, John?
So I just want to let everybody know, if you want to get hold of a copy of this, you want to see what actually goes out in these emails, the structure of it, go to datadrivenmarketing.co/resources and download it says 2 secret high performing email templates. And that's going to give you the structure of this whole, all these emails. datadrivenmarketing.co/resources, and you can download that. All right, cool. So what's the next step? Where do we just get to?
So going on. When that ends, the countdown timer usually hits 0 around midnight. There is a strategy we implement at the end of a promo, which is we'll leave the cart open for an additional 24 hours. Now, what's going to happen is if you close the cart on a Sunday at midnight, a lot of people will have read the emails on Monday morning. And when they click through, they will see the countdown timer being at 0, but they will still be able to opt in and get the offer. A lot of people might think that at that point they are taking advantage of you. We usually get about 10% of the results happening in the 24 hours after the promo ends. And you don't really care. You are there only to get that revenue with that promo. So you'll see a big spike at the end of a campaign with a going on email sequence. Maybe even 50, 60% of the results are going to come in those last 2 days. And then 10% extra is going to come if you leave that cart open and you allow people to buy. So don't, if you're using something like deadline funnels, don't ever redirect to the offer expired. Just leave the countdown timer at 0 and allow people to buy, and then manually switch it the following day.
I had something the other day I bought that there'd been an email. I couldn't find the link to buy it. And there'd been an email in my inbox. I went back and searched through my emails and I found it. And it linked to an option to buy this thing. And it was at a discount on the page from the email. And I felt really naughty. Like, because it was from ages ago, right? It was from like 3 months ago, but they'd never like closed that page that it linked to. So I bought this offer at a discount and I was fucking delighted to be going and getting it. Now, would I have paid full price and did they miss out there? I guess so, but it's like it gives you that just like little frisson of danger just buying something when it's like, oh, I'm not meant to be doing this, but I got it at a special discount right here. All right, cool. So we've gone through the email campaign, right? We've got going on. We've got the deadline has run out. We've got the 24 hours still going after that. What's the pages in the funnel? You mentioned these right at the beginning, but can you explain the first one, the sales page?
So the main sales page following all the important elements that a sales page has to have. Not going to name all of them. There is a separate episode on that, but basically.
Oh, but do you think you could?
On top of my head?
Yeah. How many do you think you could do from the top of your head?
Let's see. So you need to have a good headline, obviously. Then you need to have a good VSL.
Mm-hmm.
And a subheadline. That's top 3 elements, and then there is an eyebrow headline on top of that above the fold section. You want to have urgency and scarcity available as well, which is like a countdown timer. Then you want to have a money back guarantee, and then about your instructor, and then a pain, agitate, solution element to the copy. Then you want to have an FAQ section where you'll make sure that people can see everything that there is. And then you want testimonials, and then features, and then benefits. So explaining those features and benefits. When it comes to design, it needs to be super clear, but it's not one of those 15 things. And then what else? Like a summary at the very bottom of that, you need to make sure that everything is clearly listed. And I probably missed a couple.
CTA.
Yeah, main CTA, definitely.
Yeah. So we're missing that. That's 14 now. We've got one left. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We had the summary, the FAQs, guarantee, features, benefits, meet the instructor. Oh, a summary, like a summary about the whole course, what's actually in the course.
Yeah, module sections, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
There you go. That's the 15 elements. All right, cool. If you want that listed out, we actually have that in a free PDF. If you go to datadrivenmarketing.co/resources, it's called 15 elements every optimized sales page must have. You can download it from that page. Okay, so we've got all 15 of those elements on the sales page. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. That sounds like a lot. It's like, who's going to read all of that? Nobody. But everybody wants to read needs some of that information. So each of those sections has its own subheadings to kind of stop somebody, like, frequently asked questions, right? If I've got a question, I'm going to go to that. I'm going to scroll and I'm going to see that section. So everybody needs to know about either maybe the features or the benefits, or and probably they want a bit of both. And there's obviously a lot of nuance to each element of this. But this is not a terribly complicated funnel, right? It's just people sometimes think that to make a lot of money, you have to have this really complex funnel with all these moving parts. This is emails, and every one of those emails you mentioned is pointing people to this sales page, and it's got this standard kind of structure to it. And then there's the checkout page, and then that's there is an order bump, there is an upsell, but this is the bulk of it. These 2 pages here.
Yeah, and particularly during this promo, our order bumps and upsells didn't actually perform that well. It was one of the first promos we did for the client, so we made maybe 7 or 8% of revenue from upsells and order bumps. We normally expect 30%. So, the basic bit, a good email promotion and a good sales page is more than enough.
Yeah, great. Okay, cool. So we've got the sales page. We've mentioned the checkout page. What details do people need to know about the checkout page?
I have a summary of the offer. If you can, make sure to have trust badges. Make sure to have a simple enough process with not a lot of moving parts, not a lot of areas to fill, and not a lot of forms. In an ideal world, name, email, and card information is more than enough, and then obviously have an order bump.
Why is it that a lot of checkout pages ask for your address and they want to know the name of your favorite ice cream, and they ask all of these ridiculous extra questions? What is that for? Why do they do that?
The address bit is important for taxes, but everything else is more or less not necessary.
I saw something the other day where I wanted to check out and they asked me to set up a password to buy a thing, and I'm like, why? Some people will definitely give up at this point because it's just oh, that's a pain. Why do you need this? Why do you need me to set this up? I had one where you had to set up a password and then go to your email and check the email and click the link to verify it before you were allowed to give them money. And I was like, are you guys against making money? It's what is this? Why?
Yeah, we recently had a client that had a 7 or 8 step process, a survey process before they got to the final checkout. And then before that, you had to create an account. So it's 9 steps where people fall off.
Brutal. All right, cool. So we've got the sales page, we've got those 15 elements. If people want the list of those again, they can either rewind back and listen to that bit again, or go to datadrivenmarketing.co/resources. We've got the checkout page. And on the checkout page, we actually did have an order bump. Can you explain to everybody what an order bump is, even though in this case it didn't actually make that much money?
Yeah, so an order bump is a lower priced offer that you can tick in order to add it to your checkout to make the cart value a bit higher. You normally expect about 1/3 of people to take you up on that offer.
Got it. And then what's an upsell?
And an upsell is then what happens immediately after you've already checked out. So for the order bump, you still did not enter your credit card information, but for the upsell, we have your card on file. Basically, with just one click, we can charge your card again to sell you something else. So an upsell is a continuation offer, a logical next step that can make the main offer that you bought either better or an extra thing to that offer that goes well with it. So the most important thing is that those two offers are aligned. And there is a tactic as to how to create that upsell page, but in a nutshell, have a good headline, have a good VSL and a call to action button. You don't even have to have all the other elements below that. A good headline, a callback to the step before, basically saying, hey, thank you for buying the thing that you bought before. Because you did that, here is a special offer, and then a call to action button that has a timely. So you have maybe 15 minutes, half an hour to take you up on that to the offer. That's it. Also increases the average order value.
One thing I realized we didn't explain for anybody who doesn't know, what's a VSL?
Short video, 3 to 5 minutes explaining the offer.
Yeah. Fab. All right, cool. And that's basically it. That's the funnel we built for this client. And that made him like $111,000 in 7 days. Size was his email list.
I actually have that here in the KPIs. The email list at that point was 27,704 people strong.
And what price was the product that he was selling?
The price of the product was around $250. I think 247.
When it was discounted?
When it was discounted, yes, correct.
Got it. All right, cool. Perfect. All right, so there you go. That is the funnel that we built. Very simple, straightforward funnel. You just have to do the basics of it incredibly well, or as well as you can. And that's what made this client $111,000 from an email list of, what did you say, 27,000 people?
27 and a half, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. All right, and if you want to get hold of any of the resources that I mentioned, go to datadrivenmarketing.co/resources. You can download the summary of those email promotions, and you can get the outline of the sales page as well. Josip, thanks so much for coming on and explaining all of this to the audience.
Sure, happy to do so.
Great stuff. Thanks as always for listening. We really appreciate you, and we will see you next time.